The latest news in North Central Washington, go to ncwlife.com or find us on Facebook. Got a news tip? Email us at news@ncwlife.com or call 888-2020. Good Thursday evening and welcome to the NCW Life Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And a reprieve from the wind yesterday, but no reprieve from the wind today. This is about the only camera that we have out of all of our Sky-Fi PTZ cameras that isn't really shaking so much we can't use it. This is looking at Turtle Rock from Orondo area. And yeah, we're seeing some clouds out there, lots of wind, and even some precipitation around parts of the state. And that will be our situation as we move into the weekend. Most of the rain will be to our north around Omak, Colville, and then some thunderstorms in the northern panhandle of Idaho, maybe even Spokane if you're traveling that way this weekend. Could see a stray shower or two, and we will have your complete weekend weather forecast coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. State fire assistance has been mobilized in support of local firefighters working to contain the Montecito wildfire in Benton County. Following two delays, the Republican compromise immigration bill failed Wednesday in the U.S. House of Representatives. And we will introduce you to Bootsy the Cat in our weekly Kennel Cameos feature. But first, we begin tonight. Manson firefighters responded yesterday afternoon to the scene of a fire in the reed beds on the northwest shore of Dry Lake. Officials say it was difficult to access and presented some challenges that are not common with other fire types. Here's a video that was posted last night on the Lake Chelan Now Facebook page, and we do want to thank Susan Thiessen Mendoza for this video. At last report, around 11 p.m. last night, it was reported the crews were getting the upper hand, but they remained on scene overnight. There were no reports of threats to structures, and the fire's cause was not disclosed. Well, to the south of us this morning in Benton County, state fire assistance has been mobilized in support of local firefighters working to contain the Montecito fire. The large brush fire is located near Prosser. The Montecito fire started last night and has spread to over 2,500 acres. The fire poses a threat to nearby homes, crops, and infrastructure, and Level 2 evacuation notices have been issued by the Benton County Sheriff's Office. The cause of that fire is under investigation. Well, following two delays, the Republican compromise immigration bill failed Wednesday in the U.S. House of Representatives. Here's more on that story. The Border Security and Immigration Reform Act, negotiated by both moderates and conservatives amid pressure for Congress to finally provide a legislative fix to the country's immigration problems, failed by a large margin of 121 yes votes to 301 no votes on Wednesday. Washington's 4th District Representative Dan Newhouse says he co-sponsored H.R. 6136 and voted in favor of it yesterday because this legislation presented the best opportunity to make substantial improvements to our broken immigration system and address the situation facing families at the southern border.
This was a great bill, but in the end, I don't know exactly the motivation for it. I can't speak for every single member, but I do know in my legislative career, it's always easy to find something wrong with any bill that's in front of you. And certainly on an issue like immigration, there's going to be things that you don't like. You know, that's a given. But in the end, I believe that this bill moved us to a better place than what we are today. And it moved the issue forward so that we could move it to the Senate and continue the conversation there too, and continue improving it. But that wasn't the case today. It did not pass, and we have our work to do to come up with what I think will have to be in the end a bipartisan bill in order to be successful.
Newhouse added that the House has yet to address the crisis facing agriculture producers who cannot find enough workers, and he won't stop advocating for improvements to create a reliable, legal guest worker system. Time now for our weekly Kennel Cameos feature from the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society. Tonight, NCW Life's Megan McPherson introduces us to Bootsy the Cat.
guys, Megan here with the NCW Life Channel. We're here with Renee Parkins, the Development Officer of the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and also joining us is Bootsy. Can you tell us about Bootsy?
I can. Bootsy is a 12-year-old male. He is just really sweet, but he definitely is a cat in the sense that he likes to be in your lap and be petted, but on his terms. He's very soft. He's very sweet. He loves treats. That's what I found out today. But yeah, he's a great guy, and he's just waiting for his forever home.
And how is Bootsy with other animals and small children?
Bootsy would be much better suited for an only cat home. He has a pretty strong personality, so it's going to work best if he's the only one. And just because he's a little finicky, he's probably better off with no small children at home.
If someone wanted to adopt Bootsy, what should they do?
They could just come down and meet him. We have some great get acquainted rooms. You could take Bootsy in there, kind of get him out of the other noise and away from the other cats and really see if he's a good fit for you. His adoption fee is only $75 because he is an adult cat that did get neutered, and he's ready to go home today, so come down and meet him.
Great. The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. This has been Kennel Cameos at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society.
Coming up next, Omi Gardens is under new management after the Chelan County Commissioners selected Nina Howell to replace Mike Short. Nearly 200 children in Chelan and Douglas counties find themselves in need of a CASA volunteer due to circumstances beyond their control. And we will let you know about some of the events around the Wenatchee Valley to take in this weekend. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life Evening News.
Todd's a great boss. Sometimes he can be a little intense.
Adam, how about a lunchtime run?
I'd love to, Todd, but I gotta... Oh, Mr. Jones, you made it. I'm glad you could make it. You're really gonna love our lifetime warranty on all new Hondas. Let's walk and talk.
Oh, the running thing? It gets him hustling. I consider myself a great motivator.
With 15,000 square feet to explore, you'll find something special at the Antique Mall at Cashmere. For the do-it-yourselfers and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, the Antique Mall at Cashmere is the place to come find your next project. From the coin enthusiasts to avid collectors, Antique Mall at Cashmere has treasures in every corner. Come find your treasure today. Antique Mall at Cashmere's friendly staff is here to help. Stop on by today.
Oh, hey Nate, what you doing there?
I'm just reading a book.
A book? I didn't even know they made those anymore. Where'd you get it?
Right down the street at Ye Olde Bookshop.
Ye Olde Bookshop, I'm gonna go check it out.
If you're looking for a good book to read or you're in the market for some beautiful handcrafted creations from local artisans, look no further than Ye Olde Bookshop right in the heart of downtown Wenatchee.
Welcome back. In another news, Omi Gardens is under new management after the Chelan County Commissioners selected Nina Howell to replace Mike Short following interviews with the finalists on Tuesday. Commissioner Doug England praised Short as the heart and soul of the park. He says the responsibilities of the new managers will change.
But we're looking for a little bit different direction and are split it into two different positions. It would be next to impossible to find someone like Mike that can do both the work in the gardens and promote the gardens at the same time. So we're essentially having a manager that will oversee everything, but at the same time will be concentrating on events, on fundraising, on raising the awareness of the park in the community. What we find many times, people are very thrilled and love Omi Gardens. The last time I was there was 30 years ago. You know, it's nice to go back, and we'd like to find a way that we can involve the community much more often than that. We have events that happen up there. We have very beautiful location and a lot of weddings going on now. Concerts, everything and so we're expanding that.
Howell's first day on the job will be Monday. Mike Short has agreed to stay on to help with the transition. Howell is a Wenatchee resident. She's been working as a freelance marketing specialist. She's married to Jamie Howell, who is the director of the Snowy Creek Theater at the Sleeping Lady Resort in Leavenworth. Nearly 200 children in Chelan and Douglas counties find themselves in need of a CASA volunteer due to circumstances beyond their control. CASA, or Court-Appointed Special Advocates, are volunteers who represent the interests of minors in court proceedings, minors who may be abused or neglected at home. In tonight's features story on a recent visit to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Kenzie English, a CASA volunteer coordinator, told host Dan Kuntz how the process works for prospective volunteers.
It starts with an application, and then we interview you, and it's different than maybe a job interview or a normal volunteer interview because this is a really tough job. It's emotionally draining, it can be physically draining, mentally draining, and so we want to make sure that you're ready for this position. And then if you're accepted to take the training, that's when it kind of all starts flowing. And it's a 34-hour training and then 4 hours of courtroom observation, just so you can get a feel for what goes on in the courtroom, because it is an entirely different world in there. And after that, if you complete the training, you're accepted, you've passed all of the background checks, then you have a final interview with Sue, and she is the one that says, yes, you are accepted as a volunteer, or let's wait a little bit. And once you're accepted, you're sworn in, and most of the time we have a case for you right away.
CASA is hosting an informational open house this Thursday night at their offices on Douglas Street in Wenatchee, with the next training session set to begin on July 16th. You can find more information by visiting cdcasa.org. Time now for NCW Life's Megan McPherson to fill us in on some of the events going on this weekend.
Here's a look at what's on tap this weekend around the Wenatchee Valley. The Mission Granduro MTB race is this Saturday, June 30th. This 25 and 45-mile cycling event starts at 9:30 a.m. Head to missiongranduro.com for more info and to register. Also Saturday is the East Side Parkway Pileup from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Valley Mall Parkway. There will be a cruise and car show with awards and prizes in 5 categories as well as music. This free event is open to all makes and models. Participants may begin entering at 4:30 p.m. and cars must be in place by 5:15 p.m. Dog Days of Summer, a family show, is this Saturday from 10 to 3 at the Town Toyota Center. Dog Days of Summer is fun and educational for the whole family. Kids and canines will enjoy a day of discovery, including an animal hospital, education about dogs and handling, view or participate in obedience training, agility training, rally events, and more. Bring your well-behaved dog or meet different breeds of dogs provided by the Wenatchee Kennel Club. Trinity Inflatables will feature 2 inflatables, a Doggy and Me photo booth, and fun paw tattoos and more for the children. All the vendors will be giving out samples, advice, and information. If you love dogs and want the children to explore, this is a show not to miss. And finally, the Wenatchee Valley Farmers Market is Saturday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the west parking lot of Pybus Market. Local farmers, artisans, winemakers, bakers, and chefs make up the friendly, hardworking vendors of the Wenatchee Valley Farmers Market, open every Saturday through October 27th. Eat healthy, eat local, and support your local growers and producers. For more information on this weekend's events, visit ncwlife.com.
Thank you, Megan. You're watching the NCW Life Evening News. Coming up next in your sports update with Eric Granstrom, highlights from the Wenatchee Apple Sox and other West Coast League scores. Also, the results of last night and today's Mariner games in Baltimore, the American League West standings, plus our feature story tonight. That and much more still to come on the NCW Life Evening News. Stay with us.
J&J Snack Foods makes a lot of dough-filled products. It's really hard to attract labor in this area. We've reached out to Goodwill, and Goodwill came through to help us get that achieved. John started here at the plant a couple of months ago. We promoted him to a dough maker. He's doing well.
I'm actually doing great. I'm finally getting more notice and appreciated for my work here. I love the products we make here.
If you're struggling finding the labor that you need, reach out to Goodwill. Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
In our experience, some people are just cut out for charter college and for success in a new career. These charter types are hard workers. Charter types go above and beyond. And charter types are responsible. If you're ready to get to work making a better future for yourself, you're just our type. Charter College. We work to get you to work.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a good Thursday. What a night at the old ball yard for Wenatchee's Coyer last night. The junior catcher from Boise State hit 2 grand slams in the Apple Sox 13-2 win over Bend. Myers first came in the bottom of the third on the first pitch he saw from Elk starter Drew Zamuda. Joel Norman has the call on the Apple Sox radio network. The video feed courtesy of the Apple Sox Facebook page.
Apple Sox leading 1-0, and they can really blow this open here. The big hit. This one's hit high in the air to left field. Moving back is the outfield. That's over his head. Grand slam! Corey Meyer, first pitch swinging, makes it 5-0 Sox. His first homer of the season clears the bases, and it's 5-0 Apple Sox in the third inning.
Then in the 8th, he stepped up with the sacks full again, this time facing Sam Boone, and Meyer did it again. He became the second player in Apple Sox history with 2 grand slams in a single game. The first Jason Anderson in a non-league game in Victoria back in 2004. I had the call on that one way back when. I was remembering that last night. Jake Taylor also hit a home run last night and a solo shot in the second. Wenatchee improved to 8-11 with a win. 2 teams play the rubber match of the 3-game set tonight at 7:05. Michael Spellacy facing the Bend Elks' Mikey Hooper. Here's what also happened in the West Coast League last night as we go to the Les Schwab scoreboard. Corvallis brought 13 men to the plate in an 8-run 7th inning to beat Portland 9-4. Sam Olson led the way at the plate for the Knights, going 2 for 4 with a run and 3 RBIs. Walla Walla held off a late Victoria rally to beat the Harbor Cats 9-7 at Bolesky Stadium. Robert Teal went 2 for 4 with a run and 2 ribbies. Seth Rayburn and 3 relievers held Yakima Valley to a 5-hit shutout in Cowlitz 2-0 win at County Stadium. Trent Tingelstad went 4 for 5 with a 2-run home run and 4 RBIs in Kelowna's 12-6 win over Port Angeles. Zach Needham and Corey Pasek both went deep for Bellingham in their non-league 8-1 win over Highline. Coming up tonight in the WCL, Portland wraps up its series with Corvallis. Kelowna concludes its series with Port Angeles, and Cowlitz caps things at Yakima Valley. Dee Gordon led off the 10th with a single and then scored on Gene Secura's single in the 2-center. That was mishandled by the Baltimore center fielder, and the Mariners went on for a 4-2 win today in day baseball. Nelson Cruz got the Mariners on the board in the first up with a 2-run home run in the 4th, his 21st of the season. The Orioles tied it in the bottom of the 4th on solo shots by Manny Machado and Chris Davis. Mike Leake got a no decision today. He went 7, allowed 2 runs on 5 hits, 6 strikeouts. Seattle's now 8-0 in extra inning games this year. They also went 11 to win last night by a score of 8-7. It was Kyle Seager's 2-run home run in the 9th that tied it, and a sac fly by Bernard Span in the 11th that gave the Mariners a win. Seattle tied the Yankees for the most come-from-behind wins last night with a 23rd. Seager's heroics in the 9th were necessary because Baltimore's Chris Davis in the 8th, he crushed a ball out of the stadium. That gave the Orioles a 7-5 lead. Chasen Bradford worked a perfect 10th to get the win and improved to 5-0 this season. Edwin Diaz picked up his 30th save in the 11th as Seattle won its 50th last night. Now they've won 51. Scott Service says his team just never gives up no matter the situation or how late the game is.
We've had some great wins this year. we've done a lot of this at home. To do this on the road, after giving the big home run up, in the 8th inning there, to come back, it's how we're wired. We play all 27 outs. Guys don't quit. We figure out to find a way, and great night by Kyle Seeger. He put a great swing on the ball off Britton. Exactly what we needed at that moment. But we had a lot of good offensive performances tonight. Siegs was on, Segura again. Denard's span, quality at bats, Haniger, big night, go up and down the lineup. Guys really doing their job, but it takes a lot of guts, a lot of fight to not just cave in there after they put the big home run on us in the end.
Apparently, Seattle's victory tape includes Florida-Georgia line quite a bit. Seattle returns home. They'll take on Kansas City tomorrow night at Safeco Field, 7:10 game time. Marco Gonzalez against Ian Kennedy. Let's take a quick look at the American League West last night. Looked like the Mariners for a while were going to catch Houston, or at least shave the gap, but no. Astros fell behind 5 runs in the first, came all the way back. Alex Brugman's 2-run walk-off home run gave Houston a 7-6 win over Toronto. Boston scored 6 in the second, held on to beat Los Angeles 9-6. Oakland held Detroit to 3 hits and a 3-zip shutout of the Tigers. Mike Minor retired the first 19 batters he faced for Texas in a 5-2 win over San Diego. That's Sports. I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. A very special flame burned brightly through the streets of Wenatchee Wednesday afternoon. In our feature story tonight, NCW Life's Eric Granstrom and Megan McPherson were at Centennial Park to capture the flame of hope.
Let's hear it again for the torch relay run of folks, both athletes and law enforcement from across the country and around the world. Here in Washington, this is the final leg of the USA Games torch.
On behalf of the city, I'd like to thank some of the city team that are here, Carol, Andre, and the rest of our city team that put so much time into Special Olympics for the Winter Games and are here today as well. I learned today that Special Olympics serves 5 million people in over 170 countries. Pretty remarkable that what Special Olympics does for our athletes.
You, the Flame, and the team have been on a long and exacting journey through our great state of Washington. And wherever you have gone, you have put Special Olympics on the map. And you've raised funds so Special Olympic athletes can reach for the gold. You've also given a good picture of what this relationship is between law enforcement and the Special Olympics.
I was at the top of my game physically and athletically just 2 years ago. That all changed when I broke my foot playing soccer. It was a very hard setback. I've had 3 surgeries and I'm fighting to get back to where I was. It is a daily struggle to stay positive, but I know I am a leader on my Special Olympics team and in my life, and I won't give up on myself.
As Guardians, our Special Olympic athletes have our word that no matter where God takes them in their journey in life, we will always have their back and make sure that the flame of hope will never go out. So who are we, you may ask? We are the Torch Run.
We are the Torch Run.
The mighty, mighty Torch Run.
The mighty, mighty Torch Run.
Thank you. About 13 years ago, I started getting involved with the Special Olympics here locally in our community. Here about a year ago, they started taking selections for what they call the final leg run. And what that is they select one officer from each state to represent the state as they carry the torch throughout the state to the opening ceremonies of the game. So this year being in Seattle, stuck my name in the hat. Wasn't expecting I was going to get it, but you know what? Good things happen.
I know you're off to Leavenworth next, but then the trek continues for the next few days before you get to the opening ceremonies on Sunday.
Correct. For the next 3 days, it's going to be nothing but running and gunning through all different sites over on the west side of the state, and then leads up to the final ceremony in UW Stadium on Sunday.
Well, Brandon, thank you for the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. You have a good day.
You bet. There you go. Brandon Johnson here with the Olympic Torch Run. The Flame of Hope coming through Wenatchee on its way to Husky Stadium in Seattle this Sunday to start the USA Games.
The Special Olympics USA Games runs July 1st through the 6th in Seattle. We'll be back with your complete local weather outlook for the upcoming weekend and a peek at your 4th of July forecast right after this.
Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house, featuring great family dining in downtown Chelan. We've got burgers, pub fare, and the best barbecue around. Try one of our award-winning sauces made fresh here in-house. So grab the whole gang and come on down. Stormy Mountain Brewing. Beer, barbecue, friends, and beer.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, you know, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging in Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
Time now for a check of that north central Washington weather forecast, and once again, a ton of wind out there today. Why we're seeing it, let's take a look outside our weather window. We saw the wind today. A weak weather trough moved through the state from central part of Washington into eastern Washington today. Behind that, some very strong winds. At about 3 o'clock today, we saw steady winds at 30 miles an hour with gusts to around 36 miles an hour as we take a look from our Rondo Rock camera at Turtle Rock. But this is what we're seeing wind-wise, and this is what we're going to show you over the next few days. And keep your eye on the eastern Pacific and out into the Pacific. Lots of activity as we take a look at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Winds rushing in from the west and northwest, and that'll be primarily our wind direction over the next few days. Really not as bad tomorrow. We'll see winds about 10 to 15 miles an hour, not like those 30 mile an hour winds today, and then even less wind as we move into Saturday, at least for most of the day. We could see the winds kick up once again on Saturday night as a cold front moves down from British Columbia late in the day on Saturday into Saturday night. By Sunday, a very nice day. We'll see lighter winds, but look at the coastline, the orange and reds. That is winds in the 30 to 40, even 50 mile an hour range, and that will be expected for the west coast of Washington by the end of the weekend. And let's take a look now at your quick lube and tune forecast. And it's 56 degrees for our overnight low tonight. All these temperatures on this forecast map are below normal. 82 is our normal high temperature right now. For Friday, mostly sunny, a little breezy. As I mentioned, Saturday, it will be breezy, but not until late in the day. 79 our high. Sunday looks to be the best day. Sunny skies, light breezes, and 78. 76 on our Monday, 74 Tuesday, and moving ahead, Uriah, that flag looks great. On Wednesday, the Independence Day, partly cloudy, a 20% chance of just isolated spotty showers on Wednesday. Your high temperature for the 4th of July, right around 77. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around north central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz and News with Steve Hare. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
Mocha emergency.
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
Hey there, Wenatchee. I'm Sean Lee, and I'm inviting you to check out the NCW Movie Guide to keep up on what movies are playing in our town.